I think I've got some bad news for us metal detectorists. I think it's, bad news for us. It's probably really good news for everybody else, but it's bad news for us. Now, there's these things that I've been seeing recently in fields called cover crops, where the farmer harvests and then immediately puts a cover crop on. And that's for very good reasons, actually, very, very good reasons, but it's rare. But now, here in Europe, it's being mandated that you've got to do it. And you can guarantee that it's going to be mandated in the UK if it hasn't already been mandated, which means that they're going to harvest the field and then plough it, harrow it, seed it, boom, field gone, as far as metal detecting goes. Now, the reason they're doing it is that it's basically for a climate change thing, because they don't like all these artificial fertilizers. Most people don't either. And what happens is when you leave a field empty, I mean, the soil can blow away, and it will if it's kind of dry, peaty soil. Not if it's sandy soil, but it can blow away. It's also basically a desert. So farmer cuts his crop, leaves it there, leaves it for months. It regenerates a bit. He comes back, puts maybe some organic fertilizer on it or whatever, maybe doesn't. Ploughs it up, puts another crop on, puts the fertilizer, pesticide, blah, blah, blah. Around and around it goes. Now, what a cover crop does is that it's a kind of natural fertilizer, because you plant it up and away it goes. It's basically going to be a weed of some kind or other. Well, not a real weed. It can be things like oats, but it's plants that you don't really recognise as proper crops. All sorts of crazy plants, which cover the soil, stop that happening, keeps the soil moisture in, gives a habitat for the animals, and what's better, fertilises the soil, because when the farmer ploughs it in to plant, it actually adds to the soil. So it's like a fertiliser, but it adds to the soil, so it's also carbon capture. You can imagine all the farmland capturing carbon by doing cover crops. Well, that goes away towards net zero and all that stuff. However great news that is for humanity, for metal detectorists, that's kind of bad news, because, the field is going to be closed almost immediately it opens. That is coming, so you need to get hold of your lovely farmer and ask him, will it be all right if you detect on cover crop seeded fields? He'd probably say fine, because, he's probably been having his arm twisted to do it by the government, etc. And he wouldn't do it normally. And, it's going to grow anyway, so it's not like, oh, you're going to stand on my cucumbers. It's not going to have any effect. You need to be chatting up your farmer so you can get on when they've planted the cover crops. However, obviously when it starts to grow, which is pretty soon thereafter, it's no good for you as a field to detect on. It is really bad news for us metal detectorists, good news for humanity, bad news for treasure hunters, because it's coming, and it can be ameliorated a little bit, but it's better that metal detectorists start now finding out about cover crops and what's going to go on their fields.